23A that we talked about just before T, the one where it's indicated that you can help get assistance from police, and also with regards to your letters of appointment and so on. You turn over the page. The next page is service of documents in terms of Regulation 26. Fabulous. We are getting somewhere. Thank you, sir. That's kind. It helps if somebody knows the technology. All right. Okay. So let's have a look at Regulation 26 with regards to service. All right. Now, I have not brought along the whole regulations for you. So I'm now going to unfortunately just say, and you're going to have to take my word for it, but you can check it back on all the regulations yourself. Regulation 26 refers to service of documents for 3 documents. And they referring to the specific regulations dealing with those documents. You see that they talk about a document in terms of Regulation 4.1. There, you guys see that. And they also talk about a document in terms of Regulation 9.1b. There. Everybody on my same page? Right. And it also then talks about a regulation, a document in terms of Regulation 20 in brackets 3b in brackets. There. Okay. So, Regulation 4.1, people, is it is a Section 9 subpoena. Yeah, a Section 9 subpoena. There. Please, you can make yourself a note above Regulation 4.1, and you can check back on your own regulations, the full set. You will see that Regulation 4 talks about a subpoena. The heading is subpoena. Okay. So any subpoena can be served in terms of this specific regulation. Also, Regulation 9.1b, people, is the notice to an employer. It's a notice to an employer where you give the employer notice to deduct monthly wages. It's that notice in terms of Section 16.2, right? And it is the J176. All right. Okay? J176. So you can write that on top of that 9.1b. 1. And then 21.3b refers to a notice to an employer for arrears. Emolument attached. Yeah, 23b. That one refers to your J448. 448. So it's the, what's the first J number of the subpoena? 176. It's the J448. And what is the first one, the subpoena? The subpoena.
Oh, it's Section 9.
J126. 126. So the first one is the J126. Okay? Right. So it's a J126, it is a J176, and a J448. Okay. Those 3 documents are served in the following way, prescribed in the regulations. Together with a copy shall be delivered to a police officer, a sheriff, or a maintenance investigator. In other words, all 3 of those people can serve them, subject to the provisions of the regulations. Forthwith served if on the person referred to in the said document by delivering a copy of the document in one of the following manners. So the way that you serve is by delivering a copy. Okay? In other words, you do it the same way that they do it on law and order and CSI and whatever. In terms of your duties, you can ask for a person to identify himself. Eh? And once you've asked him to identify himself and he is the respondent, you can say, I've got this for you. You need to appear in a maintenance matter in whichever court on this and this day. The applicant is Mr. So and so, and the child mentioned is so and so, and maintenance is for maintenance inquiry. Okay. So it's by delivering a copy. Alright? And in terms of interpretation of statutes, it is what it is. It is by delivering a copy. Interpretation of statutes, laws, for those of you that do study law, and perhaps did, and have the subject already, you will know that you cannot put in words there to your liking, and you cannot take anything away from a specific section or a regulation of the Act. What the legislator has written is that's it, finish and clear. Okay? You cannot say that, but it inquires a signature. It does not inquire a signature. It inquires delivery of a copy. Are you Mr. So-and-so? Yes, yes, subpoena. It does not require him taking it. No, it says what is required, I must give you. It does not require you accepting it. There's nothing about accepting it there. It doesn't say he has to accept it. The person here, where the evidence is necessary from, whether it is a proper service or not, is this person who is delivering the copy. By completing the return of service proper, crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, name. What's wrong? Okay. So, it's your evidence on here. Obviously, this needs to be completed properly. People have just attached the J605s there for ease of reference, so that they can have something. Obviously, the maintenance officer needs to sign it. He needs to say where he served it and at what time and the place, etc. And he needs to cross out what is not applicable clearly. That is necessary for you. And what the law says is for you to deliver a copy.
Some magistrates want the respondents to sign on the document. It's necessary because it's a problem. Sometimes they don't want to sign on the document.
Absolutely.
We handed this copy of this, or what they do is they don't accept the service.
Yeah. In my view, the way that you can circumvent, or not circumvent, that you can bring across what should be done, is in some circumstances, but okay, normal circumstances, your maintenance officer is supposed to inform the magistrate of what is required by way of law. Explain to the magistrate that, Your Worship, we do not require the sheriff to obtain a signature. Why are we forcing the maintenance investigator to get the signature? It does not make sense. Who decides on which rule is applied to who? Because, again, it's not required in the law. That's why the sheriff does not get a signature. So you believe the sheriff, but you do not believe that it's the maintenance investigator. Coming from the bench, that's rich. Ne?
I refer them to follow by default. It's a penalty. And there's no way that this is the regulation.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You carry a copy of this along to, as a maintenance officer now, obviously, because you guys are not supposed to do that. But if you do, you carry a copy of this along, and you refer the magistrate to the exact word. And as I'm saying, the first thing I will tell the magistrate is, Your Worship, you give judgments or defaults on the service of sheriff on a daily basis. Is that person and it's indicated person. There's no signature. You do that, but you require the maintenance investigator to get the signature. Why this one rule for one and another rule for the
I
other?
have from a guy who SAPS member in KZN. And the investigator that signed did not make him require the investigator to sign
Yes, because
the.
that's on my instruction.
And then when it got back, the magistrate just decided, the guy was there. Both parties were there. They consented already before they went.
So that's the inquiry.
No, on section 1, on section 216, the notice.
Yeah, but I mean, it for inquiry.
Yeah, yes. So, I
You don't even need a subpoena for inquiry.
The guy who signs so he's going to fuck it off the road. Reservice this, do this. And that guy came back. And only when I did the return of service now on my own, sign and requested the guy in the morning to sign it, then it goes.
You see, in such a case, people, and I'm not trying to be funny, is that you need to ask such a aggrieved respondent to report the magistrate.
You see, that's why I said I raised the issue. So, act decide when it comes to what is the duties of the magistrate and the presiding officers. When it even comes to section 6, because you find what happens in one
It is kind of silent, although there's a huge amount of cases. So clearly they're not deep.
no, they don't.
Yeah.
Especially those old
I would have thought they're the ones that know.
Because that's the problem that I have. That they say, no, this is apply my discretion.
No, but they apply, you see, they apply criminal court rules because they do not understand the difference between the two cases.
So that's why I hope that with the maintenance income that you guys will follow the law reform commission, that perhaps we need to.
I have tried to do that.
This is the magistrate stuff here.
Yeah. There's definitely some more in that, that there's a responsibility on the magistrate. We've tried to put some of the case law, into the act, if I can put it that way. That there's a responsibility on the magistrate to get to the bottom of what is going on in the inquiry. It's not, it's not a criminal matter where you adjudicate. It is a roundtable meeting where the magistrate and the maintenance officer forms part of the process. But they do not understand that, clearly. But then people, but now I'm not sure whether this is really your issue, because you should be not seeing to maintenance inquiry matters, really. Nick, you are investigators. You are investigators and you should see to that. So for me, it is also important that that the maintenance officer, if I can call it that way, that the maintenance officer address the court properly. The maintenance officer is the person who's supposed to know the most about the maintenance laws. So he's supposed to refer the court to these laws. Your Worship, I refer you to, I have a copy available for ease of reference. Mr. Audley, please can you pass this up to the presiding officer? Because of the fact that maintenance officer or magistrates work with a wide variety of laws. 3 criminal procedure acts, district commentaries. The civil commentaries are also 3 or 4 and they equally thick and fat. Lots of rules and regulations. Same with child justice. Lots of rules and regulations in child justice. Domestic violence is another act. You need to know all the ins and outs of that. You need to know all the ins and outs of maintenance. So, I mean, you need to know. This is a fool. Jy het ook vir my soos een of ander ja, maar jy kan dit soos Okay, so the fact of the matter is that the maintenance officer should address court in law, referring court to the precise, laws that applies. That is what is necessary. So the magistrates, because they're working with a lot of things, cannot, be expected to know everything. It is not fair on them either. But now, I also do understand that some of them don't want to take anything from anybody. Even if you address them, they will tell you blah, blah, blah. That's why it's always better to address whilst the machine is running and presenting the law as you address court and handing it up in your evidence kind of thing. What they say, your address to the court. So that there's a record of that. Then the magistrate will be a little bit more scared to just, shoot from the hip, as we say. Now, yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But still, I think one can attempt by submitting the law to them, which is not happening regularly. I think that is, let's start sweeping in front of our own doors. Let's, as maintenance officers, sweep in front of our own doors. Let's get our ducks in a row. Your worship, I've got a copy of the law here for you that I'm referring to. Okay. So what I want to make you, aware of is the fact that proper service is by way of delivery. The fact of the matter is, if we are going to wait, and that's why sheriffs do not get signatures, it's because if we are going to wait for people to sign before they are going to be held accountable in a court of law, we're probably going to wait for a long time. I, for one, will not sign. Why must I sign? Who's going to force me to sign? And if I can say, no, I'm not signing, and avoid to appear in court, don't you think I'll use that opportunity? It's simple. I will. Obviously, I will. Because I can get away with it. So it's not necessary. It's not a requirement in law. But that needs to be pointed out to the presiding officer. Okay. So, it can be then done by delivering a copy of the document in one of the following manners, people, and you know that. First and foremost, personally. Then second, at the person's residence or place of business to a person not less than 16 years of age and apparently residing or employed there. In other words, if it is the person's residence, you must find out. If you go there today, for me, you won't find me, you find my lady that works there for me. Yeah? So Zanele will tell you that I am in Cape Town this week. I'm not at home. Okay? But she's older than 18 and she's working there for me at my residence, so she can accept it on my behalf. She's older than 16. Okay? Baie dankie. Ek weet nie of dit sal help nie, maar
ek glo nie, hulle sê op die balansie so dit.
wie sal dit doen?
Ek glo nie dat jy kan nie. Maar ons het gesien die winter so.
Jy's reg. Hulle is waarskynlik van 'n koue land af.
Exactly.
Maar dit warm, baie hier weer warm.
Die somer vir. En hulle praat so.
Dis reg. Hulle praat wat se taal?
Taal.
No, I can see they bulky as well, so I wonder whether it's some kind of sports thing. Yeah. Probably.
Ja, die goed is skoon gewoon.
Ja.
Dis 19-jarige kinders sê hallo oom.
Okay. So at my residence, my lady will be there and she will tell you I'm not there. And because she's older than 18, you can serve on her because she is working there at my residence. Okay? And she is there. And then the same if you go to a business in town, say for example, the panel beating workshop, there you're looking for the owner, he's not there, but there's another guy working for him. If you establish that he's working there, you can serve him to give to the owner. Okay, in terms of that self-regulation. Number 3 is the important one. At the said person's place of employment to a person apparently not less than 16 and apparently in authority over the said person, or in the absence of such person in authority to a person not less than 16 and apparently in charge. People, first of all, make the division between being in business and working. There. You know, if somebody is being in business, it's that person, the owner of the panel beating workshop, the owner of the shop, the owner of the garage. However, you guys are all in employment. So you see the two, the one for business will be number 2. The one for employment, in other words, like people like yourself and me, will be number 3. And there's very specifics in this regard, which I know you have problems with, and I appreciate the problems. But this is the law as it stands. At the person's place of employment to a person not less than 16 and apparently in authority or in absence to such person or a person in charge. Now, you can see that that excludes the security guard, it excludes the receptionist. So that is problematic for us, because especially with mines and industries, we're having a problem if people go underground and so on, we're having issue in serving. And that is difficult for me to help you with that, other than I need to point out the law for you. So personal service is best, because I don't really know how you are going to serve somebody at a mine, although I think some of you make arrangements. I know that some make arrangements for big industries like Toyota, they will send them a list of the people to send them to where they will meet and hand this over to them, but they will send the list prior. I know such arrangements has been made, for example, at Toyota Durban. I don't know what you guys do, but I'm sure you have got your ways and means to work around that. And I know sometimes you serve on HR. I know that. But understand that that's not really proper service. Brandman.
I'm going to throw a category of pigeons here because it's going to speak to your next subsection 2 as well. So we have these unique problems. And sometimes it's not just possible for you to get it to someone. Let's say a receptionist, understanding the nature of the flow of communication in that specific person. Right? So I'm going to give an example from my office with what I sensitized my magistrate to, and what my reliance was to get the magistrate to that understanding. So we know that if we were to send something to Johannesburg, for example, we're not getting a return. So I needed to find a way of getting my documents to this respondent's attention, to break the ice where at least I'm getting some communication from the lawyer or him. So I said, hey, I've studied this thing at length, and this thing frustrated the hell out of me, because it cuts off my hands. It does. So I found in, and I could have done it, I found in Mateo versus Zozo, something by Judge Slope, which gave me ammunition. And I want to read it from his application of the law to that same effect. Yes. He said, The Maintenance Act does not create a closed list of mechanisms available in law to assist children who have claims of maintenance and their specific situations are not expressly set up in the Act, right? Sections 2 sub 2 of the Maintenance Act provides that it may not be, this was for my AK-47, that it may not be interpreted so as to derogate from the common law duty of support relating.
Make a plan, in other words.
Make a plan.
Make a
So he
plan.
says it
Yeah.
does not create a closed list of mechanisms. So this is what I did.
Yeah.
I said to my magistrate, look, Your Worship, this is what I had, because I had to rebut a legal advisor in a future ministry. And I said, look, I'm going to use this. Indulge me. I'm going to make contact with the employer. Enjoy this one. Confirming that this respondent is indeed an employee there.
Yes.
And in what capacity? By way of email.
Yes.
The email thread is going
Yeah.
to speak to what I have to submit. Do you have such and such person there? The response, yes, he's a driver. He goes out and
Yeah.
returns at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, madam, please, I'm going to send you a subpoena. Receive it and confirm on the same platform that you've received it and that you've handed it over to the respondent at such a date, at such a time. Thank you. He now has to appear because he has knowledge.
Yes.
Because the employer has informed.
Yeah.
Submit to the court, Your Worship, the respondent failed to appear.
Yeah.
Can I please have an order by default?
Because he's got knowledge. Yeah.
Granted.
Yeah.
Back to that employer on the same platform,
Yeah. Same story.
same story. Back. Give me time for it lenient, as you said, 20 days, no contest. Because he's got knowledge,
Yeah.
reverse owners,
Yeah.
Mr. Writers,
Yeah.
reverse owners. Implement.
Yes.
Should he not?
Yeah, he's got an opportunity to come to court to
All the time.
put his case. Nothing
So
keeps
I
him.
had to find a
Yeah.
way.
I
to
think
expedite.
that's a very, very important remark you make, because it is clear. It's also contained in the preamble of the maintenance. That thing that make a plan, ne?
And that one, I wanted to mention this. I'm not saying it's going to work for people, but they need to sensitize.
I think most people's magistrates understand the issues with minors and things like that. Are there anybody still having a problem that you won't get, the magistrate to make an order, a default or whatever, or, one personal service if you serve, like at the mines, I think you serve on HR and whatever. Yeah, I think most magistrates, gets that, yeah, these days. But I agree with you. I think the argument, makes sense. Yeah.
And I like this judgment specifically because it's more recent than
Yeah.
the Gandhi and others.
Yeah.
It nullifies the Sentinel argument. I killed the Sentinel argument, which a lot of
Ngadi kills the Sentinel. Sentinel accepts Ngadi. There's a paragraph where Ngadi is repeated, and the judge has got no problem with that because how can he have? So Ngadi is your to go to case in future. But let's leave that for last time. Yeah.
So I just wanted to
Yeah.
show the guys that.
Yeah, I think that argument of yours is very important. The fact that the Maintenance Act, it's the same thing than this with what was said here with regards to the magistrate that's so, confined and wants a signature. It does not make sense, people. That is not what the aim of maintenance is. The aim of maintenance is to get bread on the table, supplied by both parents to a minor child. And the Constitution safeguards that right of best interest of a child.
But we are not domestic.
Why do you say that?
I will give my prosecutor everything in jail.
No, you're not the person arguing the matter.
No, let's just give him a legal piece of financial.
Yeah. Don't just, yeah, you're supposed to argue that. Yeah. Indeed. I hear what you say. Unfortunately, you guys, as a rule, don't argue the matter. But I am teaching the others as well, and colleagues. are teaching the maintenance officers as well. And we try to bring to their attention to argue the law before the courts. So, yeah, so those, and then the last one on there is the issue with regards to putting in the post box. That is C down there, where the person upon whom a document is to be or may be served keeps his or her residence or place of business closed and thereby prevents the police officer, sheriff, or maintenance investigator from serving the document, it shall be sufficient to affix a copy thereof on the outer principal door or the security gate of such residence or place of business, or to place such copy in the post box at such residence or place of business. People, what is here is that you can see that the aim, you must be able to, in some sort of a way, argue that this person is avoiding service on you. It's not a question of you go to my house this week and I'm not there because I'm here. And next week you go there and I'm not there because I'm going to be in Durban. And the week after you go there and I'm not there, and you then put it in my post box. I'm not trying to avoid service. I'm just working it away. Do you get me? Mm-hmm. So you need to, before you use the post box or the outer principal door, you need to prove that the person avoids service. In which case, well, you know them. They don't open the gate. You can see there's people inside, they don't open the gate. There's various case scenarios here. But the fact of the matter is that if you go there, and that is the case, you can see there's somebody there, and clearly there's people because of what's going on there. You need to make your sworn affidavit to that effect and attach it. And next time again, and here by the second or the third time, you will put it in the post box. You're not just going to fill the back reply, this return of service in the same place in the post box. No, I'm going to come read your neck first. Like I wanted to do, but Bongani Kimba in Durban the other day.
There's a case that I'm using these days that was decided in December last year, serving to the security guard at a security complex. So if some of you are struggling to serve on a security complex, Sibeko versus Shackleton Services is the case that I use now that says, page 5, paragraph 20 of that case says that it is regarded as proper service if you serve it on the security guard at a security complex. They refer to Nutzer, and there's another case that they refer to where they also say it is proper service in case you serve it on the security guard. As long as you make sure that you've got the security guard's details, then all of
Is
that
that
will be
also, is it a maintenance case, Dion, or general?
No, it's a case dealing with debt, the debt case.
Debt collection.
But in that specific
Yes,
case,
but I hear you, and I will argue that maintenance cannot,
it's
surely why
Yeah.
can't maintenance be done similar?
yeah. But I'll send the case to
I
all
think
of.
that's a good
the other ones.
idea. It's similar to what you say. Use Makwebu, use that,
Yeah.
and then argue, the whole thing together. All right? We will do that. Okay, Monica, are you done? Are you waiting? Okay, okay, let me finish up and then I'm gonna hand the floor. Then we'll do the app and we'll go. I haven't got much further to say. People, the other thing perhaps just there at the bottom, remember that the two notices to employer for the payment of monthly and the payment of arrears in terms of sub-regulation 2 can be served personally, obviously, on the employer. And this one, see, the maintenance officer can also serve. There's one or two exceptions where a maintenance officer can also serve. A default judgment is the other one. A maintenance officer can serve a default judgment as well. But a maintenance officer can also serve these two notices on employer, personally or by way of faxing and sending by registered mail. Now, there's some Somebody that argued in another course, can't we replace the faxing with email? And if you have to, you can argue that. But my point here, the point that I want to make is, when we are having drama with somebody that does not want to implement something, people serve the person personally. Don't beat around the bush. You've tried by way of email. You see this employer is not implementing. You want us something to do something. You want something to happen to this employer. Go and serve him again personally. And then let's, push on the criminal matter. Let's not do, and I'm going to say the same thing to you when I do future maintenance on Wednesday. When we're having drama, where you're experiencing resistance, get the personal service done. No use, we run to court, and we're now going to try and convince the lower court and not even the high court on appeal that email is proper service. We're starting off on the wrong foot. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I don't want, when I need to argue that these people should pay future maintenance in terms of Ngadi, and they refuse to do so. I don't want to start off arguing, Your Worship, it was served by way of email. Yes, madam, in terms of what law? I don't want to start there. That one needs to be fixed. I've served it personally, Your Worship. And then we engaged, and a final order was made without them coming to court, and they now refuse to pay. That is where I want to start arguing. Because if you start arguing already on the wrong foot, people, you're dead in the water. Trust me, Dion has done that. I'm sure I've done that too. Because they start with all the spelling errors that you've made. Now you start arguing why a word was like this and not like that. Trust me, and they make big things out of this. You've got no idea. You will spend a half an hour there trying to explain why a certain word was this and not that. It just puts you back, if I can put it that way. So when we have problems, personal service.
And scratching out of words on the book.
Yes, lots of things.
And then
If we are having resistance, you make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, double check everything. Make sure, give it to this one and that one to co-prove, breed everybody neck, and then you serve personally. And that's where we start arguing from. Okay? Alright. I want to finish off here so that Monica can have a chance. There is, let me leave the 236 for now. Let's just quickly go to the duties because that's easy. It's the 2 pages that's just before your contact details. People, well, okay, the one is the circular and the other one is my summary of the circular. It basically says that for your control and supervision, that rests with the court manager, the maintenance prosecutor and the officer, the control with regards to attendance at work, leave, travel and subsistence. And the state vehicle is with the court manager, and with regards to your professional work with the maintenance investigator, it rests with the prosecutor and the officer, and the maintenance investigator's performance assessment should be done by the court manager in consultation with the prosecutor and the officer, and that is basically what it says. But that should be general knowledge by now. But that is the only thing I could find where it's spelled out. It's not even in the code. I double checked because I wanted to see if there's anything in the code, and there's nothing. So this is the only thing available with regards to your supervision and control. Questions? All right. I'm going to leave that there.
Sorry, ma'am. That's a spelling. Is it custom stone or is it flexible depending on the available?
It is a circular from the Department of Justice.
Custom stone.
It's a circular.
It's a circular.
Court manager.
Supposed to follow it like that.
Be a custom stone. The office doesn't have a MO, nor does it have a court manager.
There's always an MO in our office. It is all prosecutors are MOs.
Okay. AO. It's only a,
So you have what you call an office manager.
yes.
That's the person.
That's the person then, yeah.
But you have to understand that that person is only responsible for your attendance register, booking your courses, working for you. Is essentially-
Where are you? Why? You know, where's your 6 certificate? Fill in your vacation leave, that kind of thing. And then in cooperation with the maintenance officer, whoever that might be, with regards to your assessment.
Performance agreement and assessment,
That's what I'm saying. In cooperation with the maintenance officer.
if in terms of the logistics, there is no provision for.
Say again?
If in terms of logistics, there is no provision for the prescribed officer to do the prescribed function.
Not by himself.
Yes.
It must be in cooperation with the person giving the legal instruction. Or supposedly the legal instruction.
So if you have at your office, what do you have at your office?
No, that's okay.
No, because I understand what you are saying, right? I've come from offices where there was a dedicated court manager and not dedicated court managers, right? So I've reported to court managers, and then currently at my office, because we are so big, the admin officer suffices. I don't have a problem with that because there's no hindrance or
And he probably
interference.
knows more than the court manager
Understanding
about what
the
you
work.
do anyway.
So, it's easy, it just flows. It's up to you and that person.
Yeah.
You understand? So if you don't have a problem with the admin officer, but like for
Look, the
example,
court manager, I think, can delegate that duty in that sense. You know, I don't think the court manager can do it all by himself without input from the legal side, if I can put it that way.
The reason why I was asking this, whether there is some flexibility in terms of the prescription, is because of that. In the absence or in the practical nature of the AO being the person.
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense that you insist on a court manager at a court where there ain't one. That doesn't make sense to me. So I think it needs to be practical as well. Yes, I agree.
Finally, my problem comes in, I don't know, I've been teaching about this, researching for 20,000 hours. But I reported everything to my assistant manager. I can all those things. I think
Look, that depends on the court manager or that person, you know, and the maintenance officer. I don't know how, I cannot prescribe to them how they should do that. I think you shouldn't be bogged down with too much admin in that stuff. Yeah. Isn't there a shorter manner that you could do that? Maybe by way of a summary page or something marked down as, or only a file number or something like that. But do you then just need to write a short paragraph on that, or do you need, how big is the information that you need to provide? How much information must you provide?
But when they want to charge you on something, they're going to point to this. Yeah. How go you flexible? I don't
Yeah, but how many of those are at the court? Look, as I said, I can't prescribe to him how he must manage. I cannot prescribe a person, none of us can prescribe how we are managed. You know, obviously you can try and level with the person to say, look, this is boxing me down, this is an easier way. But I'm sure all of you are being managed differently, probably. I would prefer that somebody knows what I'm doing so that he or she does not bog me down with the admin side of it, which is fairly easy. I can tell you who are the locals in KZN and who not. I'm sure Leon can tell as well. Whilst just sitting there and we sitting miles from him, it's not simple. You can easily pick up who's the local. Not difficult. Trust me. Not at all. And it's not down to the numbers being forward. We're not that stupid either.
I just want to highlight for the guys today because I normally do this in every course where I see new faces that hasn't heard this before. Clause number 2. What is that first word that you see there? Clause 2 on Circular 43 of 2005. What is the first word before work? What are you? Professional. So please conduct yourself as a professional, see yourself as a professional. Your professional work, this is a profession. Stefan mentioned earlier that this is a specialty field. The court manager can't do this. You are the one that does this. You are supervised in terms of statute. Your appointment in terms of Section 5, meaning you are a creature of statute. You need to understand this in line with Regulation 23 and Section 39(1)(8), maintenance aspect. Once you start understanding these little intricacies and policy documents, etc., you're going to be able to apply yourself better because you're going to know that you've got what powers and then function. And you are a professional. So don't see yourself.
All right, we'll leave that there. We'll hand over to Monica. Monica, do you want us to see if we can get them onto cell phone first?
Yeah, my camera was
Good morning.
because I know that let us see whether it's Monica today or maybe it's our system or maybe it's something else. Those are those what know me. I'm Monica. Gomani Mashele. From Nation. Where is my yeah, it's me Gomani Mashele as well. So guys, I want to remind you that do you still remember when we were hacked? When was that? 2 years ago. You know what the department did? They themselves, from there above, they nominated more administrators. More administrators stand for maintenance, online check and trace administrators at each and every region. For them to do what? To re-register you because we are all removed from the system. You still remember? We were all removed. So even myself, I was removed. Because they thought that we were the ones to be blamed. Because we were giving our friends the passwords and whatever, or maybe the men wish we were instructed to design our passwords. So they blamed us, but they didn't want to tell us, to just punish us. So each and every regional office, each and every province, there were nominations done by the regional aides to say, in the Western Cape, we have some bad body like Van Royen, Banat, and some other two officials. Are they here today?
No, they're not yet.
No, they're not here. Banat and two other officials. They came to national office and we trained them, but they only received the introduction to the system. They were never trained on how to manage the system because it's a long period. From 2004 to 2004. They need their time to be trained, but I think this year, maybe before the end of financial year, we're going to train them on how to manage the system. Assist you in making the registrations, whatever, monitoring your usage, because for me guys, how much alone, how too much. Do you know how many users we have on the system? 489. It's too much for not alone. Yeah, it's too much. Maybe chief directors are seeing maybe over 30 people, not more than that. So 489 is too much also. They were there to help you guys. So unfortunately, maybe this year we're going to train them. I don't know, but we'll talk about it later on. So it's not me. And the second thing is that after re-registering you guys, I will not be able to re-register you if they, after that thing, they themselves register you. I won't be able to access your profile list. Thank you. So today, I just sent to the service provider to give us, for them to do it for us. And then, you still remember, when you get registered, you will receive a link on your email, departmental email. And today, guys, I came with this Nanga here. We'll be showing you how to utilize your system or how to access your departmental emails on your cell phone. Yes. Yeah, give me some applause. Yes, I deserve that. Oh, give it to somebody. Well, she's standing up there. She'll know how to do it. But later on, actually, those who were with us at Indab, those who were with us at Indab, who were told that cell phones or whatever they can do.
3 months, 6 months.
And then you know, it's coming
It's 6 months.
So don't just bear with me for now. We are going to utilize our own cell phones and just so that when they register from that site, you'll be able to access your email right here, right now, from your cell phone. I get it. So, how many are we here? 8 around. But those are the women underneath. So we know which ones is the assistant. If you are not, yeah, and then, okay. Open say Mopoti. Mopoti. Eugene? Okay. Donovan? What are you studying? That's right. Yeah, these are big guns. Because of the Martin? What are you studying? Pizza? Capello. Yeah, no. If you are left out, just give us a name. Right now, so okay, yes, to communicate with our service provider. So can we start with Stephanie, so that they can see?
Okay, guys, so you know there's Wi-Fi?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody on the Wi-Fi, because the codes are at the back door. Can everybody get on Wi-Fi, especially the ones that are having trouble with ITC?
That second letter is a 0, not a O with a.
Is it here?
Conference.
Maar die Wi-Fi is gewillig vanaf as daar baie ouens is, as hy staan.
Yes, you can plug it in.
Wat is dit? Ek sien die my password. I hou nie daarvan as ek hier daar doen wel inlog nie, dan sê jy moet jou al system neer wat so ek log net met myself daar aan dan bly my
Maak dit 'n 0, die tweede een is 'n 0.
Neighbor het nog gesê, maar die vrou soek vir jou en daai sê dan ons landleier. Nou bel jy vir jou, sien wat jy nou ken. Maar Rita kan sê nie nog wat jy nou ons leiders aan. Hulle wil kom navraag doen oor hulle wil navraag doen oor daai.
When you go back to
I know that I'm moving.
Everybody now on the system. Everybody on the Wi-Fi. Can all of you see your work emails on your cell?
No.
Okay. If you are on an Apple, I know Mimecast is working well. If you're on Samsung, Dion says he hasn't got any problem with Mimecast. But if you've got a problem in downloading Mimecast app for your emails, then try Type app, Type app. So go to your App Store or your Play Store and look for Type app, if not for Mimecast, either one of the two. Type is type like typing, Type. Type app, it's like a T. It's like a blue T, a T in a blue circle. And the other one is Mimecast.
Oh, maar sy
So you go to your Play Store or your App Store. Ja, dis daai een. When you go to Type app, just download that. And let me just have a look because some of you are choosing the wrong option there, and then you're having trouble in downloading your emails. So once you've downloaded that, let me just have a look. Type app worked well last week with some others.
Wat een kies ons van join die email of die?
Mimecast, is mine. Yeah, mine.
Mobile app or
Mimecast is M-I-N-E, cast. Okay, now, nou kan jy maar, ek weet nie wat dit is, ek dink jy ou sê, add an account, sê ja, add an account, want jy justisie account bysit, en dan sit other email. So once you've got Type app downloaded, say add an account, and then pick the bottom one.
Justice voor volgende week.
Weet je dat allemaal op als ik tussen de arbeid. Zodra ze mij goed reden.
Ja, as jy speel die system is van aan.
Ja, maar ik ben een beeld dat eigenlijk van een sequence. Dat beeld dat eigenlijk van
Aí você